It's undeniable that the seven wonders of the world are amazing places, and anyone who sees them will be impressed. However, there are other places in this world that are much stranger. Places that seem almost extraterrestrial, as if they could only exist on a planet that evolved separately from ours. Today we're going to look at the 10 places that, according to science, are impossible to exist. The Caliente River deep in the Amazon lies this river, 6.5 kilometers long, and it's different from any other river in the world. The Shanai is so hot that any creature that steps in it gets boiled alive. The river is always at a temperature of 91 degrees, and scientists can't explain why. Normally, these hot water rivers are due to the proximity of a volcano, but in this case, the closest one is 700 kilometers away. 3. The Ringing Rocks. On top of a hill in Pennsylvania, there's a field literally full of strange rocks. The curious thing is that nobody knows why they're there, since there isn't any higher cliff nearby they could have fallen from. However, their presence isn't the strangest thing. Or when you hit one of these stones, they make a metallic sound. Scientists studied one of these stones and discovered that if you take it from its place and hit it, it emits a low-frequency sound not perceptible to the human ear. However, when they are together, they all interact in some way. And that's the sound we actually hear. No one has been able to explain this strange phenomenon. The cave with a sulfur atmosphere. In southeastern Romania, some workers accidentally discovered a cave that had been sealed for more than 5 million years. And it also has an atmosphere completely different from the rest of the Earth. After a series of tunnels, you enter a chamber, and inside it there is a lake of sulfurous water that smells like rotten eggs. And it is contaminated with 100 times the levels of carbon dioxide found in any other water. However, the strangest thing is that an entire ecosystem has survived inside, and researchers found 33 species that don't exist anywhere else and have adapted to live in this sulfuric atmosphere, feeding on a foam that forms on top of the rocks, the Petrifying well. In England, there's a place where water drips down a cliff that looks like the smiling face of a skeleton. But the incredible thing about this place is that whatever object you put under its water, it will turn to stone. The process usually takes between 3 and 5 months. And as you can see, people have left all sorts of things, from teddy bears to even bicycles. Years ago, people thought this well was cursed by a witch. And scientists have the theory that maybe the water contains a mineral that creates a rocky layer. Above all, that touches Karachay, inside what was once a weapons factory of the Soviet Union. There is a lake with more radioactive material than any other place on the planet. This lake is so radioactive that just 1 hour near it is enough to kill a person. The place was used to dump nuclear waste in 1967. The water dried up and the radioactive dust spread over more than 1.5 kilometers, creating serious problems. Nowadays, the water is still so toxic that it makes Chernobyl look like a tourist destination. The Maracaibo Lighthouse on the Catatumbo River in Venezuela. There is a storm that never. Every night, starting at 7, lightning begins to strike the water for about 10 hours, over 260 nights a year. Scientists are not sure why this extraordinary phenomenon occurs, and something that left them even more puzzled is that in 2010 the storm stopped inexplicably. However, after 6 weeks of silence, it reappeared as if it never. had stopped the doubletree. In the Italian countryside of Piemonte, there is an unusual sight. There you can find a cherry tree as healthy as any other, with the peculiarity that it has grown directly on top of a mulberry tree. Normally, when a case of parasitic trees like this occurs, they usually die before 100 days. However, here there are 2 healthy and fully formed trees. Scientists are not quite sure how both trees can survive, and they believe that some bird might have dropped it. The seed and the roots made their way through some hollow part of the mulberry tree's trunk, allowing it to survive and grow healthily. 5. The Blue Pond. On the Japanese island of Hokkaido, there is a lake completely different from the others. Its water is electric blue and changes color depending on the angle from which you look at it. With the changing seasons, its color changes even more and takes on different shades of blue and green. This lake was actually man-made, since the locals built a dam and established this place as a reservoir where they could collect water. However, when they started to collect it, they realized that the water had changed its color and it was completely blue, the blue lava volcano. In Indonesia, there is a sulfur mine built on a volcano, and when the workers go in at night, they don't need lights, since their path is lit by an extra or blue liquid that flows down the side. Scientists say that most likely this blue liquid is actually sulfur, which, together with the gases, causes it to condense and come out in liquid form, as if it were lava. Are they right? That means the air there must be very toxic. However, the mine workers don't wear masks, and they would be victims of unbreathable air while working under a bluish light that would be killing them little by little. Grüner See in Austria has a beautiful and unique park with lovely walking trails for any autumn morning. However, if you visit it in spring, things change. In fact, to visit it, you'll need diving equipment. The park is located very close to the mountains, and they accumulate so much snow in winter that when it melts, the park's lake doubles in size and floods the park, basically without ferries.